From the Video 8 recordings later, Volume 28 featured the definitive interview with Little Richard. Costas does a wonderful job, as usual, delving into the influences and those influenced and the limitations put upon our earliest rock and roller. He is the father of rock and roll.
Thanks for staying up later, and as you just saw, it's none other than Little Richard here with us tonight. I'm going to do this as quickly as I can, but I got to put it in context. A while ago, the rock critic at that time for the New York Times, Robert Palmer, said, Little Richard provided the Big Bang, that first explosion that made all that followed possible. He was the most influential vocalist and band leader of 50s rock. Rolling Stone said, more than any other performer, Little Richard blew the lid off the 50s. And if you want to talk about people that you've influenced, Mick Jagger, nobody could beat Little Richard's stage act. Otis Redding, I entered the business because of Richard. David Bowie, Little Richard was my inspiration. Keith Richards, we were on top of the world when we were on the same stage as Little Richard. Buddy Holly, you can't keep still when you hear the great Little Richard. Paul Simon, when I was in high school, I wanted to be like Little Richard. Paul McCartney, Tutti Frutti is what did it for me. In Dylan's high school yearbook, the notation beneath him says his objective is, quote, to join Little Richard. If you influenced all those people and dozens more, who influenced you?
I was influenced by Mahalia Jackson. When I was a little boy, I loved gospel music so much. And Mahalia Jackson had this, she had this thing like she would says, the turns, what I got from her was the turns in my voice that people call soul. Like she would say, standing here wondering, you know, what your way to go. So much confusion in this world below. I just, when I heard her, it just shook my body, shook my mind, my life. And with her and Sister Rosetta Tharpe, I used to sing with Sister Tharpe. She played the guitar, and I never heard a man play guitar like that woman. That woman made that guitar talk and walk. Oh, she was fantastic. And the Clara Ward singers and Brother Joe May. He was the thunderbolt of the Middle West. Everybody else was listening to Swing and Sway with Sammy Kaye.
Yeah.
And pennies from heaven, but they wasn't falling in my neighborhood.
How could you think, in the 50s, a black kid in the South, with the kind of music that you wanted to do, how could you think there was any outlet for you?
I started traveling from place to place with my band, playing all the little clubs, we call clubs, but it was really little joints. And people started talking about me. Little Richard, Little Richard. Plus, I was wearing all this hair, and they never seen a man with hair on the head like me. My hair was way up there.
I mean, let me interrupt. You were out there. I mean, to some people, to see Nat King Cole on television was jarring to many whites in the 50s.
Yes.
Now we're talking about a guy, not just a black guy, but a guy singing this rock and roll in the most uninhibited fashion. He's got big hair, wild outfits, and he's wearing makeup.
That's right, that's right. And looking beautiful.
Well, no question.
Yes. It was just, they had never seen nothing like me, Bob. And I think when you have a head the size of mine, sometimes you get in trouble. I came in with this head that was unusual, and my shoulders was tired from carrying it. But I got there, and everybody wanted to hear me. Everybody wanted to hear me play the piano. I was playing piano with my toes, my elbows, my fists, using part-time my wrists. And the white people didn't want their kids to listen to me because to them I was crazy. I had all this music. I was playing this. At that time they called it nigger music.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing when Elvis came on the scene. They said, "What? This man is crazy, and he's going to drive our children insane." I was tired of hearing Galimbardo, you know. We wanted to rock, we wanted to boogie. And the kids said, Little Richard can make us boogie. He can do it for us. So then I started singing Tutti Frutti. although we didn't have the lyrics at the time, but we had the wop, babaloo, bop, a lop, bam, boom, and we was booming all over the place. You know, and we, woo! Everybody just screamed. You know, it was outrageous. It wasn't bad outrageous. It was good. It was electrifying, and it gave the kids something, new life. You know, because they was tired of sitting in the corner, and I had them booging. You know, because I'm playing the piano with my toes and everything, and screaming. It was really something different.
Not only was the music different, but to a lot of parents at that time, Elvis was threatening enough.
Yes.
But the sexuality of it, and whatever stereotypes and stupid ideas they had about blacks and sexuality, the whole thing was just so threatening they were ready to run in the attic and hide.
Well, what happened is, when Elvis came in the scene, we was already out. See, we recorded for RCA Victor before Elvis, but if you was black, it was called Camden, and if you was white, it was RCA. So being black, I was on Camden, you know? So when we would come to town and sing for the kids, and the white girls go to screaming, they would complain. They didn't complain when Elvis came a lot of times, you know, because he's a white boy singing. They didn't want that black image. I'm out there good looking, suntan, pretty. They didn't want that.
What,
you know.
What happens today? I don't know if you've even had a conversation with him. If you cross paths with Pat Boone. Now, Pat Boone, I'm sure, is a very nice man. But we all know how bogus it is that he was having hit records covering your songs.
Everybody's song. He covered everybody but himself.
Well, I'd like to hear you sing Love Letters in the Sand, actually.
Love letters in the sand. That sounded almost like his Tutti Frutti. What happened is, Pat Boone, when he covered my Tutti Frutti, he covered Fats Dominoes, Blueberry Hill. He covered a lot of people. But Pat covered me. I was getting real big with Tutti Frutti. My name was, overnight, it was just getting popular, you know, just Little Richard. And the white kids would take my records and put in the drawer, and they would put Pat Boone's record on top of the table, because they didn't want their mothers to know they had my record in the house. But, you know, Pat Boone, wop, babaloom, bop, lop, bop, bum, and I was wop, babaloom, you know, it was, you know, screaming. Wop, babaloom, babaloom, bop, bop, bop. I didn't like him at the time. I was very disgusted and discouraged, because my mother had 12 children. My dad was dead, and I had to take care of my mother and 12 children, help them, you know, 11 without me. And this man was stopping my road to success. You know, he was covering my record, and I felt that he didn't need it. He was white. He could record woo, 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 and it was still been a hit. I had to get boom, 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 bam, boom, woo. I had to do all of that, you know. And I said, now he gonna take my song, and I ain't gonna have nothing. So he covered Tutti Frutti and outsold me. Sold way more records. In every way. Then I came out with Long Tall Sally. He covered that. The only thing I had him, I thought about it when I did Long Tall Sally. I said, I'm gonna fix him this time. I had him to put that, and she got back in that real quick so he couldn't keep his time.
Do it fast.
I said, I'm gonna fix myself. I'm gonna throw him off a beat. Woo, woo.
Did you ever have any conversation with him down the road with Pat Boone?
Oh, yes. He wanted me to do Brian Gumble with him a few weeks ago, but I couldn't do it. I could have done it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna tell the truth. I could have done it, but I didn't. I didn't want to sing Tutti Frutti with him in no duet. He done took my song, they want me to do a duet. That's not right. And I'm gonna be up there singing, and then when they mix it, they gonna pull his voice up over mine like they used to do Tom Jones with me. I'll be in there singing, top my voice, when I hear something like Tom Jones be way up there, and you just couldn't hear me. I said, what happened? Who did it? Who told them? Why? And so that's what it is. So what I'm doing now is that by Pat Boone doing this, I'm not mad with him, because I believe that the record company got Pat to sing that way because they saw a good chance to cover a big hit record, which was a huge hit.
Is it true that the phrases like wop bamaloo bop balop bam boom, that came out of, and aren't I terrific at that, my friends? I got a natural affinity for this stuff, don't you think? that came out of sort of like nonsense syllables that you would say when you had a job at a diner someplace, kind of your way of cursing out the boss so that he wouldn't know what you were saying?
Well, when I used to work at the Greyhound bus station in Macon, Georgia, I was making $10 a week. I was working 12 hours a day. And I would sing, and they didn't allow you to sing because, you know, we couldn't go into the dining room. We had to eat on a box behind the washing machine, the dishwasher, go in an old bathroom in the back that was real filthy. We couldn't go in a nice bathroom. I had to drink out of water fountains that was dirty. You know, where people been throwing up, regurgitating. It was just dirty. But that's what they had for black people at that time. I would be back there singing, and I would write my songs. I would make up all these songs, and I would be up all night sitting in the bus station watching the bus come in, because it was no place else to go. I'm from the country, you know, and so I'll be wop, bop-a-loom, bop-a-lop, bam, boom, you know. Tutti Frutti, ho, woo, Tutti Frutti, ho, and people, but I didn't think that nobody wanted to hear it, because the record companies wanted me to sound like B.B. King. They wanted me to be a blues singer. Mm-hmm. And when I was singing rock and roll, they didn't understand. See, because rock and roll, Bob, is only rhythm and blues up tempo. See, that R&B don't stand for rhythm and blues. It stands for real black. You know, and so what I was doing, I'm there singing this music, but afraid that nobody wants to hear it, you know. And sometimes I would get ashamed to sing it for the people. And then I just started playing the piano, just started screaming, and I didn't care. You know, I just sang it anyway, because I really wanted to help my mother and my sisters and brothers. So it became so energizing to me to think about them, to do what I was doing, until I just lost sight of everything else. I didn't see nobody, I didn't hear nobody. I just put all of my energies into doing my music.
The Beatles at one time, right?
Yes, I went to England. Brian Epstein brought me to Liverpool, and his dad owned a lot of record stores. And he brought these little boys in to meet me, and they had never recorded. And they idolized me. He said, Paul idolized me. And so when I met them, all of them hold my thumb. I have a big picture in my room. I should have brought it, with them holding my thumb. I took them with me to Hamburg, Germany, to open my show. And then I started traveling around with them. And Brian Epstein offered me to bring a tape back to VJ Records, but I felt it wasn't going to do anything, and I didn't bring it. And he offered me 50% of the group, and I didn't bring it.
You passed on the Beatles. You weren't that impressed.
Oh, yes, I was. Now, Paul always did impress me, because to me they was 4 Everly Brothers. Mm-hmm. That harmony was just like the Everly Brothers. But I just felt that at the time that the group, because all they were singing was my music and Chuck Berry's. You know, like they wanted to go on the stage and do a guest song, but they wanted to sing my song. I said, no, I got to come on the stage too. they wanted to sing Long Tall Sally. I said, Then they wanted to sing Slipping on the Slide and People on the... I said, no. Because, you know, they didn't have no other songs. Then they keep selling this song, Love, Love Me Do. You know I love you, so please, love me do. You know, that's what they end up singing. But they were a good group, and they played my tunes fantastic. They played Chuck Berry's tunes real good. Those were the only 2 artists' songs that they sung. Now with Mick Jagger was a different story. Now Mick toured with us too. He was sleeping on Bo Diddley's floor. It was the Rolling Stones. They didn't have, you know, they was very poor, you know, and they didn't have no hit either. And so we was on this tour, and Mick was opening my show. And he was sleeping on a truck, then he started sleeping on Bo Diddley's floor. And he would watch my show every night. And when you see what Mick is doing on the stage, that's just what I used to do when Mick met me. I would go from one end of the stage to the other with my hand on my hip, and I would throw it all in there. I would do the same thing you see Mick doing. That's what Mick used to watch me do many years ago. I'd get on top of the piano, I'd take off my clothes.
Could anybody hold their own on the stage with you?
No! Can I say that again?
Please.
No! No. When I would go on the stage, I would wear I had was it 4 bodyguards, Robert? 6. It was 6 bodyguards.
6.
And they all dressed just like Queen Elizabeth guard. They had the big hats, red coats, white gloves, and they were copied out a long rug for me when I get out of the limo, and they would bring the king out. You know, they would get me out and they would kiss my hand, and if they didn't, I would fire them. you know. And they would bring me in, and I would get in, and I would get to the. People would come from everywhere to see and hear me sing rock and roll.
I'm going to the corner, gonna buy a diamond ring. Love me, kiss me, make me ting-a-ling-a-ling. Good golly, miss mine. Woo, so like the moon. Going to rockin' down the road. I get it up out of town. Woo,
See, now I heard a story, you don't know if these stories are apocryphal or they really happened, that you and Jerry Lee Lewis are on the same bill, and there's a dispute over who's going to go first. You flip a coin or something.
Yes.
And you go first.
Yeah.
And then, after bringing the house down, he goes up there and you go in the audience and sign autographs while he's performing.
I did do that. That's the truth. Unlike you, Bob, you tell the truth. That is the truth. That's what I did. He was arguing about who's going on the stage. I said, I'll go. You know, you're waiting hours. The show's supposed to be on here back there. I ain't going on the stage first in front of Richard. I said, I'm going out here and I'm going to tear him up. I'm going to throw my legs on the piano. I have to hold my legs in my arms or whatever. I went out there and the house went in. And it was hard for him to come on the stage. And then to top it off, I went in the audience to sign an autograph while he was singing. And they didn't pay him no attention then. It was wrong to do it that way, but I had to get him back. I had to go on the stage first.
So what happened after that? That's the kind of thing that leads to fights, right?
After the show, we're still buddies. Jerry and I are still good friends today.
If I asked you, pick 3 or 4 Little Richard songs, they're the ones that 100 years from now, the rest of the tapes we're burning, 100 years from now, these 3 or 4 will indicate your work. Which 3 or 4 would they be?
Lucille, which is my favorite. Dun, 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 dun. I love that. Good Golly Miss Molly. I love my piano on there. Send Me Some Lovin'. And I have to bring Tutti Frutti. Yeah.
I like Rip It Up, too.
I do, too. I forgot about that. And Keep on Knocking, But You Can't Come In.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Come back tomorrow night and try it again. I like that.
You said you love me, but you can't come in. You said you love me, but you can't come in. You said you love me, but you can't come. Come back tomorrow night and try it again. Keep it knocking, but you can't come in. Keep it knocking, but you can't come in. Keep it knocking, but you can't come in. Come back tomorrow night and try it again. Thank you.
We just have time to bid these fine folks goodbye. You do it in any fashion you'd like.
See you later. We've had a joy. We've done it all right here on the wall in the hall. Ooh-wee.
Thank you for watching Cleveland Live Music. I can't play a lick. That's why I'm a taper. Thanks for watching the channel and making it grow. If you want to subscribe, that'd be appreciated. Patreon and GoFundMe would be appreciated. Maybe I could get guitar lessons.